I really don't want to cry during this video, but who knows, because this is a very touchy subject. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Evelyn. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. As you can tell from the title of the video, we are going to be getting into a little bit more of a serious topic today, and I have been wanting to talk about this because it's something that's like not like special, but like I need to talk about this with other women. It's something that is not talked about, and I just can't wrap my head around why it's not talked about. But as you can tell from the title of this video, I had another miscarriage. I miscarried at 5 weeks, and I'm still like trying to process it. I already went to therapy. I'm working on how to cope with it a little bit better because my coping skills have not been good, and it just consists of not making good choices with how I'm treating my body. So I am trying to gain new coping skills for this, and I think that like talking about it and just like getting this information out there is just so important, because a lot of women do not talk about this. It almost feels like we're just sitting in silence when it comes to miscarrying, and that is so upsetting to me. Like, you are not alone. I have experienced this, unfortunately, 3 times already, and it's just like, even saying that is heartbreaking. I can't imagine like women that have to go through this more, and who's to say that I don't go through this again. Like, I pray to God that I do not have to go through that again, because it gets you like in a really dark mindset, at least for me personally, and I just don't want to go back there again. But I just wanted to talk about like how it happened and what I did this time, and it's just like I just want to share my story with you guys. Also, my cute little cup is bringing me some cheer during these kind of darker times right now. Let me run it all the way back to my very first pregnancy. I got pregnant when I was 18 years old. I was very scared. I was still in college. I was like, I don't know, it was just a whole bunch of emotions. Unfortunately, that pregnancy resulted in my very first miscarriage, and with it being my first pregnancy, like going through that miscarriage with your first pregnancy was just like, I didn't know what to do with myself. I was like, am I alone here? Like, no one talked about these things. Like, I remember getting really like upset and like down about it, but like no one was talking to me about it. So I was like, I guess this is just like not a big deal, you know. And I moved forward from that, and I didn't do it in the correct way. I didn't do it how I was supposed to. I would just kind of forget about it and kind of just try to move on with my life, I guess. Fast forward to me being 21. I got with my now husband in 2018. I had just turned 21 when I met him. I think that's the right timeline. I'm not sure right now. I can't think that far back right now, but in 2021, I got pregnant with our son. That was my second pregnancy, which, thank goodness, it was a valid pregnancy. Everything was perfect the entire pregnancy. Like, it was such a healthy pregnancy that I am so grateful that I was able to experience such a great healthy pregnancy, even though my symptoms were very like strong. Like, I did have nausea every single freaking day. Like, I can't even tell you a day that I did not like at least be nauseous at some point during the day. And then gave birth in 2022. I waited for a while. We weren't trying, and then in 2024 we got pregnant, and this was my third pregnancy. I found out I was pregnant. We were not trying. I went to the doctor, went for my 8-week appointment. Everything was great. We found the heartbeat. Everything was perfect. I went back for my 12-week appointment, and that's when I knew something was not right. I was still getting very, very sick. I was still so tired. Like all the regular pregnancy symptoms, I was experiencing them, and they were just so heightened. Like the morning sickness and the fatigue was so bad. And then all of a sudden, my symptoms started like declining, like getting better. And I was like, okay, maybe this is just like, I don't know, maybe I'm going into the second trimester and my symptoms are gonna be so much better than the first trimester, is what I thought. But I still like had this thought in the back of my head. I was like, something might not be right, because I was sick throughout my entire pregnancy with Kingston. Like, I don't know, I know no two pregnancies are like the same, but it just didn't like feel right. So I went for my 12-week appointment. I remember this doctor's appointment so vividly, and it was the only doctor's appointment that my husband didn't go with me, and that was my choice. I told him that I had an appointment coming up, and he asked me if I wanted him to come with me, and I told him no. I was like, oh, I'll just bring you the ultrasound pictures whenever you get home or whatever. I remember going in for my appointment, and you know, they were gonna do the ultrasound, make sure the baby's still doing good, and we were doing the ultrasound, and at this point you can do it over the tummy. So they were like doing the ultrasound or whatever, and silence. No one was saying anything, no one was doing anything. Like, he was just kept looking and looking for the ultrasound, and I was like, okay, like what is going on? Let's just say this is the screen. I'm right here, the doctor's right here. All he does is turn the screen away from me, and I knew something was wrong at that point. I was like, there's no way he's not like letting me see the screen. And he tells me, he's like, oh, like sometimes it's a little bit harder to find the heartbeat over your stomach, you know, like doing it the normal way, whatever. And he's like, we're gonna do it vaginally. And I was like, okay, like there was no issue of you finding it last appointment just 4 weeks ago. Like, why is there an issue now? And then I didn't say that. I was just thinking that, and I knew in my heart something was not right when he said that. I was like, I already had like some suspicion that something was not right because of my symptoms literally like declining so rapidly. And now with him saying that, I was like, okay, something is really not right here. So he goes and he comes back with a second person, and I freaking knew it. As soon as I saw that other person walk in, I was like, they're about to tell me that there's no heartbeat anymore, because that's exactly how it happened with my first miscarriage. There had to be 2 people in the room so they could like verify that there is no heartbeat. And when I saw that other person walk in, I was like, there's no way this is happening again. Like, there's no way. God. But I'm actually surprised that I can talk about it without like bawling my eyes out, which therapy has helped me with that a lot. Well, yeah, the second person came in with a hand. They were doing the vaginal ultrasound, and he kept checking and I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, he kept moving it and like trying to find the heartbeat, and there was nothing. And then I remember him just, you know, finishing up, and he said, unfortunately there's no heartbeat anymore. He said, we don't have a heartbeat anymore. I am so sorry. And I literally started bawling my eyes out, and it was so sad because my son Kingston was with me. He didn't know what was going on, and he just kept asking, you okay, mommy, you okay? And I was like, fuck, like I don't want to cry in front of him, but I can't help crying right now. Like, my heart just literally got broke into 2, and I was bawling, and my doctor was like, I'm so sorry. He helped me up. He's like, literally the first thing he said is like, it's not your fault. Like, this happens to so many women, and the first thing they do is blame themselves. Exactly what I did. First thing I did was blame myself, and I was like, why, what did I do wrong? Why does this keep happening to me? And I don't know, he was very like understanding and sympathetic, and he like helped me up. I was like in shambles. My life was in shambles at that moment, and he was like, don't even worry about checking out, don't even worry about anything, just grab your stuff and go and do what you need to do. So I grabbed my stuff, I grabbed Kingston, I ran out that door as fast as I can. I got in my car. I couldn't even move. I didn't know what to do. So the first thing I did was call my husband. I was like, oh, that phone call was so hard too. That phone call to my husband was so hard for me to do, but I had to do it. I called him. I was like, I'm at the doctor's. They just told me that there's no heartbeat anymore. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, the baby didn't make it. Like, the baby's gone. And he was like, he was devastated on the phone, and he wasn't even in the area. He, like, at his job, sometimes he has to like work out of town, so he was like an hour and a half away from me. And I was like, I was like, you gotta come home now. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, my life is literally upside down right now. So he was like, all right, like yeah, I'm coming home. He's like, just go home and stay home, and I'll be there as soon as I can. And I was like, okay. I hung up. I called my sister. So I was like, I don't know what to do. So I kept calling people. I was like, I called my sister. I told her about what happened, and she was like, hey, like, just calm down. Like don't do anything irrational. Just calm down and try to calm yourself down so you can drive home safely, and just try to be safe right now. So I went home, and eventually my husband got home, and that was just like really hard time during our life and our marriage too, because I feel like I got to the point where I was so like depressed that I would get so angry about everything, and I would go off on my husband. I would bicker with him. I would like argue for no reason. It was just really a really hard time. But I was actually in therapy during that time, so I continued going to therapy. I continued on to therapy, which helped me out so much because I was declining so fast. I also got a job because during this time I was a stay-at-home mom, so I was like, I need something to occupy my mind so I just don't sit here at home and like be depressed about it. And I was just like not coping correctly. I was like letting out all my anger on Eric, and it was not fair to him either. So I went to therapy. I got a job. My therapist helped me so much, because I wouldn't even be able to talk about this if I didn't go to therapy, because I would literally get triggered so fast. Fast forward, we decided that we were going to wait until I was mentally ready to try again. So fast forward to 2025, May of this year, I decided that, okay, I think I'm ready to start trying for a second baby. And so we started trying. We were trying for about 4 months, and it was such a letdown every time I would take a test and it would be negative. Like, I shared that with you guys on my TikTok. Like, I would post my little pregnancy videos of trying to conceive and like my pregnancy test videos. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, you can, I will put it up here on the screen, and you guys can go follow me over there, because I do keep you guys updated more over there. As you guys know, I haven't been on here in like almost a year. So on the 4th month, it was August, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a digital this time, because I had been taking the little test strips. I ran out of those. I was like, I'm not gonna get any more. Like, let me just do a digital, because they'll tell me straight up if I'm pregnant or not. So I got a digital. I literally like took it 3 days before my period, and it was positive. I cried so much, and I probably can insert the video of me taking that test and like my reaction to like finding out that I was pregnant. But I was so happy. I was over the moon. I was so excited. I literally ran to the bedroom, and I told my husband, and he was so excited too. And you know, like, as soon as you get that pregnancy, the positive, you like start thinking about how your life is going to change, and you get so excited for all these things. And I called my doctor. I was like, I'm pregnant, like I need an appointment. They're like, okay, we can't see you till you're 8 weeks. And I was like, okay, like that's fine. And I scheduled my 8-week appointment. Literally a week after I had scheduled that appointment, I was just having a regular day. It was Sunday before Labor Day. I used the bathroom in the evening, like just, you know, I needed to go to the bathroom, so I went to go use the bathroom. And I wipe and I looked down because I was like, it feels a little wetter than normal. Sorry, TMI. But I wiped and I looked and I was like, there's no fucking way. There's literally no way. There was blood on the toilet paper. It was pink. It wasn't like super bright red, but I was like, there's no actual way this is happening again. Like, there's literally no way. And I was there in shock, like looking at the toilet paper, and I yelled out for Eric and I told him to come here, and I was like, it's happening again. And I showed him the toilet paper. He was just in shock like me. He didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. I was like, what the fuck am I gonna do? Tomorrow's Labor Day. No one's gonna be opened. And I was freaking out. I cleaned up, whatever, and I look in the toilet and I see like something floating in there, and I was like, oh my god, dude, there's no actual way this is happening. And it was like a little small, like nickel-sized tissue of something, and I was like, I started bawling my eyes out. I could not control myself, and my husband was just like hugging me, like trying to calm me down, and I couldn't. And I was like, I was a mess. I was like, well, now I don't know what to do. Tomorrow's Labor Day. I remembered I had a friend who works at the clinic that I go to. So I literally messaged on TikTok. She helped me out so much because she like verified that they're not open tomorrow because I couldn't find anything on their website. And she was like, what's going on? Maybe I can help you or give you some advice or something. So I told her what was going on. She was very, very sorry. Like she told me she was so sorry, and like just kind of try to stay calm, and they can get me in and on Tuesday, and hopefully like maybe it's not an actual miscarriage. Like, she didn't tell me that. I was like thinking that. I was like, maybe it's just like some bleeding, because you hear of these women that bleed, and she did say that she had seen some women that bleed a lot and then they still have a healthy pregnancy. So that kind of calmed me down a little bit. I went to the doctor on Tuesday and they did blood work. I was still bleeding. It wasn't super heavy. They did blood work, and then to check my HCG levels, which tells you if your pregnancy is like gonna be viable, if it keeps going up, and if it goes down, it's more than likely a miscarriage. But don't take my advice. This is not medical advice. It's just me giving my opinion of what happened to me. So they take my blood. I go back 3 days later. Yeah, 2 or 3 days later, I go back. They do another blood work. The nurse calls me from my first blood work. She's like, hey, your HCG levels look fine. They look good. We're going to wait until the next test results come out so we can compare them. Then I didn't hear back till Monday, which was the longest weekend of my life. Like, I just needed to know. She called me on Monday and she was like, hey, your HCG levels dropped like more than half. And I was like, oh my god, like I still had some hope in me that like this was just something else. And she's like, they did one more lab work on that Monday, and she called me the next day on Tuesday, and she's like, I'm so sorry, like your HCG levels have dropped all the way down to 52, from 723 all the way down to 52. And I was like, she's like, I'm so sorry, like you're just gonna have to let your body like do its thing. Because I told her that those last 2 days of me bleeding were so heavy and so like painful. Like, it was basically like everything was coming out at that point. And she told me, she's like, as long as you don't have a fever, you are not feeling a pad in every hour, or you don't have like chills or anything like that, and like you should be fine. If you do have those symptoms, like you need to go to the ER. So luckily I was fine. There was no complications with that, and I got everything out, and I don't know, it was just like so hard, and I couldn't even go to work, and my boss was very, very understanding, which I'm so grateful that I have a boss like that, because like a lot of people don't know like how hard this is, especially if you have not gone through it. Like, you're still experiencing a loss, you're still grieving this loss. You, as soon as you get that pregnancy, that positive pregnancy test, you have a baby. Like, in your head, you have a baby, you know, like it's just so hard. The crazy thing is that like 1 in 4 women will miscarry. That is so much, and I don't know why it's not talked about. And that's why I want to share my stories with you, because I know there's women out there that can resonate with me, and you're not alone. And the most important thing is, this is not your fault. You did not do this. This was genetics. The biggest reason why a women miscarry is because the baby's genetics are not like 100% correct. There might be an extra chromosome or missing a chromosome, so that's why you have a miscarriage. So it is definitely not your fault, and I know that's so hard to like understand, because I was like blaming myself the whole time. But I need to know, and I need to make myself understand that it's not my fault. I was doing everything right. I even had lost 30 pounds from my last miscarriage, because I was like, okay, maybe I'm too overweight and I need to keep losing weight, which I'm still trying to lose more weight. But I was eating healthy, I was exercising, I was drinking a lot of water, and you just need to know it's not your fault. That's the main thing. Like, it is not your fault, and you are not alone. There's so many women that are suffering in silence, and that breaks my heart. And that's why I don't want to suffer in silence. I want to talk about it. I want to let people know, like, hey, this is something that happens so often. Like, why we don't talk about it? And yeah, the thing that was just different from this miscarriage than my past 2 miscarriages was that I did not bleed at all during my first 2 miscarriages. There was no bleeding, no symptoms of miscarriage at all whatsoever. The only reason I found out I was miscarrying was because there was no heartbeat. And those 2 first miscarriages, they did have to do a D&C. If you don't know what a D&C is, it's like when they go in and like clean out your uterus, make sure everything comes out so you don't get an infection and become septic. This last miscarriage I had, my body was actually doing what it was supposed to do by expelling everything, and that was the only difference, because I did have bleeding, obviously, and I did have a lot of cramping towards the end when my body was getting rid of everything. It was like so different how 2 miscarriages can be. This one I was bleeding, this one I was not. So I don't know, it's just like no 2 miscarriages are gonna be the same. I just wanted to share my story with you guys, because I know that some of you have been following me on TikTok, and like I just posted a recent video like about me miscarrying and stuff. I didn't go into detail at all. It was just like I used the sound, and it was just like a very short video. So I kind of wanted to go into detail here, but I hope you guys don't feel alone. Comment down below, let me know if you guys have gone through this. Like, how did you cope with it? Like, did you get therapy? How are you doing now? Are you still trying? Especially trying to conceive after you have a miscarriage is so scary. It like robs you from being happy and excited, because at any moment like it could be ripped away from you, like it was for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was somewhat helpful for you to, you know, let you know that you're not alone. And yeah, I'm here if you guys ever need someone to talk to. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.